Good afternoon. Namaste. This is Dr. Uma Keduvetal, Faculty of Agricultural and Veterinary Sciences, Jayoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. And as you know, I'll be taking the course on metabolism and bioenergetics. So in the previous session, we had started with the amino acid metabolism. So in this session, and we had discussed about the major methods by which amino acid metabolism occurs, the transamination reactions, the deamination reactions, and the decarboxylation reactions. So in this session, we will be looking into the major pathways by which the mechanism for deamination reactions. So the mechanism for the transamination of amino acids. So if we were to look into the transamination of amino acids, what is transamination? So transamination is the transfer of an amine group from one molecule to another, and it is catalyzed by a family of enzymes called transaminases. So this process of transamination occurs through aminotransferase enzymes or the transaminase enzymes. They are the same actually. The aminotransferases are also named as the transaminases, and they can be specific for an amino acid or can cater to several amino acids that are similar in their chemical composition. So amino acids that are currently not needed can be transformed into another amino acid. Like I had told you that the half-life of the amino acid in the amino acid pool of the cell is very less. It's either used as an anabolic structural building block for a protein, or else it is transferred for purine or pyrimidine synthesis, or if not, then it is degraded. So if one amino acid is not needed, it can be transformed into another amino acid that is currently needed. And this reallocation of these amino groups occur via alpha keto acids. That is, which has got a keto group, double bond O group at the second carbon atom. Is an alpha keto acid. And so if we were to look into the structure of an alpha, the transamination reaction, it is something like this. So we have this keto acid, and then there will be the there will be one with an amino group and one which is the keto acid, and then we will get the amino of this and the keto of this. So that is how basically a transamination reaction happens. So the most usual and the major keto acid involved is the alpha ketoglutaric acid, and that uses I'll show you one of the common mechanisms that happens in the cell. So this is one of the major transamination reaction that always happens in the cell. So we have alanine, and its keto acid is pyruvic acid. So when we are combining alanine and alpha ketoglutarate, what happens is pyruvic acid will be formed, and the amine form of alpha ketoglutarate is glutamic acid. So we will get alanine plus alpha Kg giving pyruvate plus glutamic acid. And this is one of the major transamination reactions that happen in the cells. So there are other amino acids which can be converted after several steps through transamination into pyruvic acid and like serine, cysteine, glycine, they need to be processed quite a lot before they can be transaminated into pyruvic acid, and then this pyruvic acid can be used for gluconeogenesis and other processes. So transamination turns the alpha keto acid into a new amino acid, and so this requires a coenzyme, that is pyridoxal phosphate, PLP. So you know that pyridoxine is vitamin B6, and when that is phosphorylated, it gives pyridoxal phosphate, and that is an aldehyde group that reacts with the transamination with the amino group of the amino acid. So this is basically a Schiff's base, RNH2. So this pyridoxal phosphate is what acts as the Schiff's base in the transfer of the amino group. And this reaction destabilizes the amino acid, and the hydrogen atom starts to migrate, which leads to shift of the double bond, and ketamine emerges from the aldimine. So that is what the basic biochemistry of this transamination reaction is. So pyridoxal phosphate will act as the shift base for the transfer of amino group, the NH2 group. And once the shift base is formed, that will lead to an electron relocation in the amine, the erstwhile amine amino acid, and then it will become the keto acid. So that is what happens in a transamination reaction. And this pyridoxal phosphate, the amino form of the or the Schiff's base of form of the pyridoxal phosphate will then transfer this amino group to the keto group, and there it will do the convert it to its amino acid form. So PLP is reduced to PMP or pyridoxamine phosphate, and this reverse reaction also generates the other amino acid. So like that is how PLP is reconstituted. So these aminotransferases, in the last session also I had told that there are a class of very important transaminases, the alanine transaminases and aspartate transaminase. So alanine transaminase actually catalyzes the transfer of amino group from alanine to alpha ketoglutarate, forming pyruvate and glutamate. So like, and the aspartate aminotransferase transfers aspartate to alpha, from aspartate to alpha ketoglutarate, forming oxaloacetate and glutamate. So these are very important diagnostic markers for liver function test. So that is a very probable question, as in like this has got very high clinical relevance, like these enzymes, these SGOT and SGPT, as they are called by their previous names, they are liver function tests, and they are routinely done even now. So this alanine transaminase is also having a role in the delivery of skeletal muscle carbon and nitrogen to the liver. And then this pyruvate that is formed has got important function in the gluconeogenesis. So this actually forms something known as the glucose-alanine cycle. So in the glucose-alanine cycle, what happens is the skeletal muscle will eliminate the nitrogen, and it will replenish its energy supply. And then the glucose oxidation produces pyruvate that can undergo transamination to alanine. So during periods of fasting, skeletal muscle protein is degraded for energy value of amino acids, and alanine is the major amino acid in protein. So this alanine then enters the bloodstream, is transported to liver, and where it is converted back to pyruvate as a source for gluconeogenesis. So I'll show you the diagram for the glucosalanine cycle. So in the liver cell, the hepatocyte, the glucose is there, and in the muscle also the glucose is there. This will form pyruvate. So then the alanine transaminase will convert it to alanine. And also, like if there is an oxygen deficiency, then it will be converted to lactate as well. That gives the energy. So once this is there, then the alanine through the bloodstream gets transferred to the liver cell, where it will be acted upon by alanine transaminase, and we will get the glutamate and the pyruvate from this, and that will become glucose. If it is aspartate transaminase, then it will produce oxaloacetic acid, and that will also go for gluconeogenesis. So these are the glucose-alanine cycle. There is something similar, the glucose-aspartate cycle, but the glucose-alanine cycle is the most important one. So that will be about the glucose-alanine cycle. And then coming to the importance of ALT, that is cytosolic enzyme, and these participate in numerous transaminations. So that is regulator of various anabolic pathways, and they are also involved in the elimination of in the kidney, where the glutamate is formed in the course of nitrogen elimination. So it gets removed and incorporated into urea, or becomes the ammonia in the proximal tubule cells, and is involved in the pH regulation of the urine. So now let us talk about pyridoxal phosphate, that is the coenzyme involved in this transamination reaction. So the pyridoxal phosphate, or PLP, it is the most important coenzyme in amino acid metabolism, and it's the biologically active form of pyridoxal, the aldehyde form of pyridoxine. And the vitamin B6 has got different forms. It can be amine form, or that is pyridoxamine, and alcohol form is the pyridoxine, and the aldehyde form is pyridoxal, and it's the phosphate of the aldehyde form, that is the coenzyme. So if you were to look at the structure of pyridoxal phosphate, so it will be something like this. So this is the pyridoxal. So in the pyridoxal, there is an OHO, and over here, the phosphate will be linked. So that is it about pyridoxal phosphate. And please make sure that you know the structure of the pyridoxal, because that structure is very important for the reaction mechanisms, how it takes place. So what are the sources? So wheat germs are relatively rich in vitamin B6, and then PLP is links lysine to a lysine residue based on the enzyme involved in the reaction, like the alanine transaminase and all. So it is linking itself to lysine residues, and then creates the Schiff base with the amino acid, and that is what results in the strong electrophilic effects that leads to the shifting of the bonds. So this reaction actually forms ammonia, but then it's since it's so what happens is then there is a ping pong mechanism. So once it has acted upon this one, then the ammonia will be linked to this, and this amine linked group will then get attached to the next substrate, that will be the alpha keto acid, and over there this amine is transferred, and in that mechanism this pyridoxal phosphate will be regenerated. So otherwise, if the ammonia is released, then it will be shuttled into the urea cycle that leads to the deamination reaction. So that is what we will be covering in the next session, the deamination reaction. So that'll be it for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.